Good morning, dear students! Once again, I am Rafi G. Aguilar, your teacher in the disciplines and ideas in the social sciences. Before we proceed, of course, class, don't forget to visit our official website, which is the www.guidef.com. And don't forget to log in your account there and visit the learning pad so that you can be able to download the PDF there. You can find the quizzes and the activities I have uploaded there. So, shall we start now? Okay. Previously, we've discussed the social sciences, which is the study of society. Now, can you still recall our lesson? What is social science? Okay, essentially the term social sciences is defined as the body of knowledge concerned with the methodical study of various aspects of our society, numerous social phenomena, and the impacts of these occurrences on people's lives. So today, our lesson is all about social science, research designs, and methods. So, I have prepared our objectives. So this will be our objectives. First, recognize the various research designs and methods utilized in social sciences. Second, make a short research proposal about a certain social issue. And third, value the significance of social science research as a powerful tool to analyze various problems and issues in human society. So come on, let's begin the discussion. Social science research designs and method. So as you can see in the images there, first, identify the problem, followed by gathering data. Third, hypothesis. Fourth, test the hypothesis or experiment. And then, last, does the new data agree? So this will be the steps or the process of or the methods to be used when you are conducting a research. And aside from that, this method could also be used when you are conducting or having an experiment in science, or if you are observing of something. So these will be the methods you are going to use so that you can come up or you can put an answer to your question or to the problem that you study. So what precisely is the scientific method? According to Arnold Bhattacharjee, Social Science Research Principles, Methods, and Practices, 2012, scientific method is the systematic process that refers to a standardized series of practices for constructing scientific knowledge, such as how to create genuine observations, how to explain the results, and how to make comprehensive assumptions using those outcomes. This experimental technique, which is also called empirical science, enables people to objectively and independently examine established theories and earlier findings and subject this hypothesis to several deliberations, modifications, or improvements. Any discipline that does not employ the scientific method in testing its fundamental laws or theories cannot be considered as a scientific discipline. Research. What is research? Generally, research is characterized as the formulation of new scientific knowledge or inductive research or the employment of prevailing knowledge in a new and innovative manner to establish or attain new ideas, conclusions, and techniques or deductive research. This systematic inquiry aims to discover and explain new scientific facts, modify the existing laws and theories in view of these facts, and apply the new improved laws and theories in practice. Research is the process of acquiring knowledge in social sciences, is beneficial, since it helps individuals deal with the different social issues and problems that are affecting them. Research process. For a research to be considered as a scientific research, it should follow the scientific method. What is scientific method? So scientific method, this will be the methods to be used in order to solve the situation or the problem. That's why you have to use the scientific for you to be guided and to put your research in process and to give justification of your situation. That is why research projects such as social science research shares similar objective with the scientific method, which is to build scientific knowledge or to examine the prevailing laws and theories in a specific discipline. Research design, research execution, and research report according to Bhattacharjee 2012. However, this generalized design cannot be applied to all kinds of research projects. It can be revised to match the needs of a specific research project. Okay, class, so as you can see on the screen, on the presentation, there are two columns there, which is the first column is the phases of the research process, and the second column is the steps of the research process. So let's have first under the phases of the research process, which is the exploration. So what is exploration? Exploration, it involves the selection of research questions for further investigation, the analysis of available literature in the area of inquiry to know the present condition of knowledge in that area, and the identification of theories that may help answer the selected research questions of interest. So that's according to the definition given under the which is the exploration. So exploration involves the selection of research questions. Remember that, class? Research questions under the exploration. Now, in the other side, under which is in line with the exploration, are the following: research questions, literature review, and then the theories. So what are these three all about? Let's have first the research questions. So research questions, these are the specific questions regarding a behavior, event, or phenomenon of interest that a researcher desires to seek answers for in his or her research project. So it involves the specific questions regarding upon the behavior, the event, or the phenomenon which is the researcher seeks to find answers. So that research questions are the specific questions. Second is the literature review. So what is literature review? Literature review, its objectives are the following. So there are three objectives. First is the analysis of the current condition of knowledge in the area of investigation. Second, identification of the major authors, scholarly articles, theories, and findings in that research area. And number three, identification of the related studies in that area. So it is a way of utilizing others' works that are relevant to the one being undertaken. So that is literature review. So it has three objectives. The first one is analyzation. The second one is the identification of the major authors or articles, etc. And then the third one is identification of the related studies. So under the literature review is a way of utilizing others' works that are relevant to the one being undertaken. Now let's have the theories. So the theories, of course, this can help a researcher in exploring the desired research questions in his or her scholarly study. This can assist a researcher in identifying the concepts or constructs that are logically related to the target behavior occurrence or phenomenon, even though these are not yet proven, theories can lead to further discussion, because theories, as we all know, theories is not yet proven. That's why it is your literature review should contain theories, because these theories might has something to do with your study. And of course, under the second column, on the first column, under the phases of the research process is the research design. So what is research design? So research design, it is involved with the development of a series of activities to be performed in order to satisfactorily answer the research questions identified in the exploration phase. So meaning, the research design, it is the answer of the research questions. So you give justification of the research questions, the specific questions that you come up based upon the problem that you want to have a solution. So under the research design, on the other column, which is in line with the research design, is the operationalization and the research method. Now let's have first the operationalization. So operationalization, it is the procedure of developing specific measures for abstract theoretical concepts. So it has two steps. First, the specification of operational definitions that explain precisely how the concepts or constructs of interest will be empirically measured. And the second one is the exploration of published literature in the area of investigation to see if there are present approved measures identical to the researcher's operational definitions that can be utilized directly or modified to measure the researcher's theoretical concept. And next is the research method. So the research method, this involves the selection of methods of inquiry to be employed in order to collect data that will eventually help the researcher in addressing his or her desired research questions and describing accurately of his or her topic of interest. So this is done together with the operationalization. So what are the operation you are going to use? If it is a checklist or a personal data sheet on how you gather information, depending upon the topic that you are studying. Now let's have the research proposal. So this multi-part proposal specifies all the decisions made by the researcher in the early stages of the research process and the justifications behind each decision. So research execution, it includes the pilot testing of measurement instruments, the collection of data, and the analysis of data. So this will be the execution. No? It includes the testing of measurement based upon the instrument used. So in line with the research execution, pilot testing, it is a tremendously significant stage of the research process because it helps in the detection of possible issues in the research design and measurement instruments. It guarantees that the instrumentations used in the research are accurate and reliable measures of the desired concepts. It improves the questions, formats, and scales of the research instruments. Second is the data collection. So after the testing, you have the data collection. So this is defined as the process of gathering and measuring accurate information such as insights from several relevant sources in an established systematic way that allows a researcher to answer of his or her research questions of interest, test of his or her hypothesis, and evaluate the result. When we say hypothesis, that is a tentative answer. Then the data gathered may be qualitative or quantitative depending on the research methods used. So quantity versus quality. Next, of data collection is the data analysis. So after the gathering of information, you are going to analyze the data. So that is data analysis. It is the procedure of analyzing and interpreting the data collected from a variety of sources for the intention of drawing conclusions regarding the desired research questions. This is the stage of the research process wherein the classification and organization of the data gathered take place. It may be qualitative or quantitative depending on the type of the data gathered. So, it depends upon the data gathered, either it's quantitative or qualitative. So, that's it. After the data collection, you are going to interpret the data that you've gathered. That is what we call as data analysis. So, first, under the research execution, in line with research execution, first is the pilot testing. So the pilot testing, you are going to conduct your method or the instrument that you are going to use in order to gather the information or the data. And then after that is the data collection. So how are you going to collect? Based upon the instrument used. So you are going to collect the idea. You are going to collect the data, information. And after that, after collecting the information or gathering information, you are going to interpret, which is the data analysis. You are going to interpret the data that you've gathered based from the respondents of your study. So research report. So it involves the documentation of the whole research process and its findings in the form of a research paper, dissertation, or monograph. It lays out in sufficient detail all the decisions made by the researcher in every stage of the research process and the reasons behind each decision, as well as the results of each phase of the research process. So those are the steps you are going to conduct that when you are conducting a study. So first you have to the exploration, and then the exploration, and then the research design, and then the research execution. So then you come up with a research report. So those are the documentation of the whole research process. So it could be a research paper, a dissertation, or a monograph. So that's it. So next we have the research design. So research design is one of the phases of the research process. The phases of the research process, that is the research design. So this procedure is characterized as a comprehensive plan for an empirical research project that aims to sufficiently answer research questions of interest or test specific hypotheses in a logical manner. In a logical manner, it's very logical. It establishes a blueprint of the activities to be taken by a researcher, such as data collection, data analysis, and data interpretation, in order to effectively address the questions in his or her research project. So types of research design. So research designs can be grouped into three categories. So there are three categories of research designs. What are those? That's according to Creswell 2014. So there are three categories. What are those three categories mentioned? First is the quantitative. Second is the qualitative. And then the third one is the mixed methods. So what are those again? Quantitative, qualitative, and the mixed methods. That's according to Creswell 2014. So there are three, can be grouped into three categories. So first, we have the quantitative design. So what is quantitative design? So first, quantitative designs, also called as positivist designs, are intended for theory testings. So these are quantitative are intended for theory testings. These research designs analyze objective theories through the examination of the relationship among variables. These variables will be measured by using quantitative research instruments such as a questionnaires and a test with the intention of analyzing the quantifiable or numeric data through statistical, mathematical, or computational techniques. So it involves solvings, computations, that is quantitative. Also, quantitative designs try to find generalized patterns based on an objective perspective on what is real. So that involves solving. Yes, the statistical, that is numerical, that is what we call as quantitative designs. So what are the types of quantitative design? So there are how many types? There are two. So first is the survey research. So what is survey research? Survey research, it is a non-experimental research design that focuses on measuring the variables by means of quantitative research instruments such as tests and questionnaires, and analyzing the effects of these variables through statistical, mathematical, or numerical methods. So when you want to have a survey research, of course, that involves statistical, mathematical, or numerical methods. So you are going to analyze the information or the data that you've gathered. So example, distance education and its effects on the academic achievement of the senior high school learners. So this will be the title, no? The title of the quantitative research design. So next is the experimental research. So what is experimental research? Still under the quantitative. Okay, so experimental research, this research design is intended to analyze cause-effect relationship. When we say cause-effect, the reason, right? The reason and why this scenario happened and how this happened. So it's about why and how. Cause and effect. What is the reasons? How did this happen? Something like that. So, to analyze cause-effect relationships in a firmly controlled context by segregating the cause. So, the cause, which is the reason or the certain treatment, from the effect. The effect, that is the result. In time, providing the cause or the specific treatment to one group of subjects or experimental group, but restraining it from another group or control group, and determining how the mean affects these two groups. So another type of the quantitative research is the experimental research. So example, the impact of integrating peace education in teaching disciplines and ideas in the social sciences. So another type of research design is the qualitative design. So this is in contrast with the quantitative design. So qualitative designs, also called as interpretative designs, are intended for theory building. These strategies of inquiry explore and interpret the meanings that people or groups of people ascribe to specific social or personal issues. So the studies is all about specific or personal issues. So it does not require you to have a what we call this solving mathematical methods or statistical data to be used, because the research or the study conducted is all about the personal issues. So that's the difference between qualitative and quantitative. So there are types of quantitative design. So what are they? First is the narrative research. So what's narrative? It is a strategy of inquiry that aims to comprehensively explore the life experiences of individuals and the meaning as they ascribe to these experiences. It is a research design from the humanities, wherein the research asks a small sample of participants to tell stories about the topic of interest for him or her to obtain valuable information that can be used in his or her research project. Example, a narrative inquiry of learners' perceptions regarding alternative delivery mode or ADM modules. So that is a narrative from the word itself, narrative. So retelling, no, something like that, in order to get information. Next is the undertype of the qualitative is the phenomenological research. The phenomenological research is this qualitative research designed from philosophy and psychology concentrates on describing the commonality among the life experiences of several individuals within a specific group who have all experienced a certain phenomenon. So what exactly a certain phenomenon like the COVID, no? The COVID pandemic. Yes, that's an example of phenomenon because it's very strange. It's not normal. It's unusual. So example, the life experiences of being an online seller during the enhanced community quarantine or ECQ period. So that's an example of phenomenological research based on the phenomenon that is happening. And then the other types of the qualitative research is the grounded theory. So grounded theory, it is a type of inductive research design that came from sociology in which a researcher utilizes a systematic set of techniques in order to formulate a focused, abstract, and conceptual theory regarding a specific phenomenon grounded in the perspectives which are considered as data of the participants. Example, a grounded theory exploration of career decisions among senior high school. And then, the other type of qualitative research is the ethnography. The ethnography, this interpretative research design from anthropology and sociology emphasizes the significance of exploring a specific social phenomenon such as an event, an interaction, or a relationship within the context of its culture. For example, coping with work-related stress during the coronavirus disease 2019 COVID-19 pandemic, an ethnographic study. So that is ethnographic. And of course, the case study. So, what is case study? It is still under the types of qualitative. So, case study is a strategy of inquiry that is characterized as an in-depth analysis of a specific issue or phenomenon such as an event or an activity in one or more real-life settings over an extended period of time, rather than a wide-ranging statistical survey or an all-encompassing comparative inquiry. Example, dog as an emotional support animal, a qualitative case research. So that is a case study. And then the third method is the mixed methods design. So what is mixed methods design? Differently involve the collection of both qualitative and quantitative data and integration of these two types of data and the use of special research designs that may include philosophical assumptions and the theoretical frameworks. So types of mixed methods, we have the convergent parallel mixed methods. First, these research designs uses concurrent timing, a timing within mixed methods designs in which a researcher carries out both the qualitative and quantitative strands during a single phase of the research process and prioritizes the strands evenly. Example, a convergent parallel mixed methods investigation of distance education for learners with special educational needs. The second type of mixed method is the explanatory sequential mixed method. So explanatory sequential mixed methods, it is a type of research design that employs sequential timing, a timing within mixed methods designs wherein a researcher implements the quantitative and qualitative strands in two different interactive phases of the research study. Example, the impact of coronavirus disease or COVID-19 on family resilience, an explanatory sequential mixed methods approach. So that's an example of explanatory sequential mixed method. Third is the exploratory sequential mixed method. So the other one is the explanatory. Next is the exploratory, from the root word explore. So exploratory sequential mixed methods, this form of mixed methods design, although it utilizes sequential timing, is the opposite sequence of the explanatory design, since it prioritizes the collection and examination of qualitative data in the first or initial phase. So example, the quantitative culture, the quarantine culture, an exploratory sequential mixed method study. Research methods. So research methods, first is the empirical analytical group. It is the group of research methods that approaches the study of social sciences in a similar way that the researchers analyze the natural sciences. Second, interpretative group. This group of research methods is focused on exploring and understanding a specific phenomenon in a comprehensive and holistic manner. Third, mixed methods group. It is the group of research methods wherein both qualitative and quantitative data are gathered, examined, and interpreted. So empirical or analytic group. So there are three columns: empirical analytical group, interpretative group, and then the mixed methods. So first, under the first column is the empirical analytical group. So we have the predetermined responses. For the interpretative group, emerging responses, and for the mixed methods, both predetermined and emerging responses, because it mixed. So it's it's a combination because it's mixed. Okay, for the empirical analytical group of closed-ended or instrument-based questions, so under interpretative group, it will be open-ended questions, and for the mixed methods, it will be both open-ended and closed-ended questions. And for the empirical analytical group, which is the attitude data, census data, observational data, and performance data. So under interpretative group, it will become audiovisual data, document data, interview data, and observation data. For the mixed methods, numerous forms of data drawing on all possibilities. Okay, now statistical analysis for empirical analytical group. So it's statistical analysis. In the interpretative group, it will become image and text analysis. For the mixed methods, it will both statistical and text analysis. So statistical and text, because it is a combination. It is mixed. And for the empirical, statistical interpretation. For the interpretative, it will become interpretation of themes or patterns. And for the mixed methods, across databases interpretation. So that's all for today, class. Thank you for having your time with me. And don't forget to visit our official website, www.gaitf.com. Don't forget to enter your account there, to log in your account there, and visit the learning path, download the PDFs there, and answers the activities and the quizzes I have uploaded there. So once again, have a great day. Thank you. Bye.